Somewhere in your home right now, there is something stealing from you. Not your money, not your sleep, not your time, your circulation, your memory, your independence. And the strangest part? You bought it yourself. You opened it yourself. You eat it regularly because everything about it looks like a responsible, health-conscious choice. I'm Dr. Linda Harrington, and in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what it is, why it affects the aging body in ways that don't show up until real damage is done, and, more importantly, what to replace it with. Including one specific food whose effect on the aging cardiovascular system is so remarkable and so rarely discussed that most of my own colleagues have never thought to mention it to their patients. It's coming at the 7-minute mark. Don't skip ahead. Everything before it is the context that makes it make sense. Let's start by identifying the thieves, because not all of them look dangerous. In fact, the most harmful ones look like exactly the opposite. Picture your kitchen counter, a small bowl, golden, smooth, lightly roasted cashews sitting there like the most innocent snack in the world. For millions of seniors, this is a daily ritual, and it feels responsible. It feels like the mature, health-conscious alternative to chips or cookies. But here is what's happening inside the body. Quietly, consistently, every single time. Most commercial cashews are roasted at very high temperatures. That process oxidizes a portion of their natural fats, chemically altering them in ways that reduce the nut's beneficial properties and introduce compounds that promote inflammation. For an aging body already managing higher baseline inflammation, this is not a neutral event. Then there is the sodium. A single generous handful of salted cashews can carry a sodium load comparable to an entire cooked meal. And for adults over 60 managing blood pressure, heart health, or fluid balance, excess sodium is one of the most well-documented contributors to elevated blood pressure and fluid retention. It stiffens blood vessels. It causes the body to hold on to water. It works, slowly and silently, against the cardiovascular system you are trying to protect. I had a patient I'll call Margaret, 72 years old, genuinely health-conscious, avoiding sweets, walking every morning, but every afternoon, a bowl of salted cashews. Over several months, her ankles began swelling, her blood pressure climbed, her joints ached in ways they hadn't before. Her doctor evaluated all possible causes carefully, but her sodium intake from that one daily habit was identified as a meaningful contributing factor. Adjusting it was part of what helped turn things around. The answer is not to eliminate cashews. It is to choose unsalted, lightly roasted versions, and to be honest about how much you're eating. But cashews are only the beginning, because the next nut causes a different kind of harm, one that targets something seniors fear even more than physical discomfort. In their natural state, macadamia nuts are actually a reasonable food for older adults. Healthy fats, low carbohydrates, gentle on blood sugar. There is nothing inherently wrong with them. The problem is that almost no one eats them in their natural state. The version sold in most American stores, coated in caramel, milk chocolate, flavored syrups, and roasted in industrial seed oils, is a fundamentally different product. And what makes it specifically problematic for seniors is the combination of factors it delivers simultaneously. Added sugars cause rapid blood glucose spikes. After age 60, the body's ability to manage these fluctuations changes. Insulin sensitivity shifts, metabolism slows, and what a younger person processes easily can leave an older adult fatigued, foggy, and reaching for more food within the hour. Over time, consistent blood sugar disruption contributes to poor glucose control and increased risk of type 2 diabetes. The industrial seed oils used in commercial roasting are increasingly flagged by cardiologists as problematic, particularly in the context of ultra-processed, high-calorie products. These are not the same as the naturally occurring fats in the raw nut. They are processed, calorie-dense, and associated with elevated cardiovascular risk markers when consumed regularly. Think about a patient I'll call Elaine, 68 years old. She was treating herself to chocolate-covered macadamia nuts a few evenings a week, genuinely believing they were a more sophisticated, healthier treat than ordinary candy. Over time, her blood sugar control worsened noticeably, and her energy became unreliable. Her doctor's review pointed clearly to her dietary pattern, and those evening treats were a significant part of the picture. The nut itself was not the enemy. The processing was. And that distinction matters, because it means the solution is a change of form, not a permanent deprivation. Now, what comes next is something I want you to hear very carefully, because this third nut is one that many health-conscious seniors specifically seek out, believing reasonably that they are making an exceptional choice. Brazil nuts carry a remarkable reputation in wellness communities, and there is a legitimate reason for that. They are genuinely nutrient-dense. They feel like exactly the kind of whole, natural food a person over 60 should be eating. But there is one characteristic of Brazil nuts that sets them apart from almost every other food on Earth, and it requires honest, direct discussion. Brazil nuts contain an extraordinary concentration of selenium, more than virtually any other food source. And selenium, while essential to human health in small amounts, becomes problematic when intake consistently exceeds what the body needs. A single Brazil nut can provide close to, or in some cases more than, the full recommended daily intake of selenium for an adult. Eating several nuts regularly pushes intake well beyond what most physicians consider a safe range. And for older adults whose kidneys process minerals more slowly than they once did, selenium can accumulate in the body over weeks and months before any obvious symptoms appear. Elevated selenium toxicity, presents as unexplained fatigue, brittle and thinning hair, digestive disturbance, hand tremors, and in more serious cases, peripheral nerve damage. Because these symptoms overlap so completely with common experiences of aging, the dietary cause is almost always missed. A patient I'll call Bernard, 74, methodical, genuinely invested in his health, had added a commercial mixed nut blend to his morning routine. He hadn't noticed how many Brazil nuts were consistently in the mix. After several months of worsening tremors and dizziness, blood work revealed elevated selenium levels. His diet was adjusted, the symptoms gradually resolved. He was not being careless. He simply didn't know. One Brazil nut occasionally presents no meaningful risk for most people. The concern is regular, habitual consumption, especially from mixed nut blends where they appear frequently and in quantity without the consumer realizing it. And now, the fourth nut. The one I have been building toward. The one that is the most emotionally familiar, the most widely trusted, and in its commercial form, one of the most quietly harmful. But before I reveal that fourth nut, I need to shift the conversation completely, because everything we've discussed so far has been about what to reduce, what to reconsider, what to be more careful with, and that matters. But it is only half of what you came here for. The other half is this. There are nuts that do not steal from you, nuts that give back, nuts that support the aging cardiovascular system, protect the aging brain, and nourish the tiny network of blood vessels that quietly governs how alive, how present, how sharp you feel every single day. I want to walk you through 4 of them, and I'm going to ask you one more time. Stay with me until the 7-minute mark, because what I'm saving for that moment is the piece that connects everything, the piece that most people never hear, the piece that I believe will stay with you long after this video ends. Before we go further, if you're watching this and something is clicking into place, if you're thinking, I've been eating some of these things for years and no one ever explained this to me, that feeling is precisely why this channel exists. I'm Dr. Linda Harrington, and Golden Glow Senior is built on a single belief, that you deserve honest, medically grounded information that treats you as the intelligent, capable adult you are. Not alarm, not vague warnings, not oversimplified advice. Real information, clearly explained every single week. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that right now and turn on the notification bell, because the 4 protective nuts I'm about to describe, and especially the one coming at the 7-minute mark, represent the kind of knowledge that genuinely changes how people age. And I never want you to miss a video like this one. Now, let's talk about the nuts that are fighting for you. There is something almost poetic about the walnut. Its folded, wrinkled surface has long reminded people of the human brain. And as it turns out, that resemblance carries real biological meaning. Walnuts are one of the richest plant-based sources of ALA omega-3 fatty acids, essential fats that play a well-documented role in reducing inflammation throughout the body, including in the brain and arterial walls. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now understood by researchers to be one of the primary mechanisms driving cognitive decline, arterial stiffening, and joint deterioration in older adults. Omega-3s help moderate that process at the cellular level. Beyond omega-3s, walnuts are rich in polyphenols, antioxidant compounds consistently linked in research to better blood vessel flexibility, reduced arterial stiffness, and improved circulation. For adults over 60, these are not abstract benefits. They translate to lower blood pressure readings, better oxygen delivery to the brain, and more resilient cardiovascular function over time. A patient I'll call Raymond, 69, a retired teacher, added a small daily handful of raw walnuts to his breakfast after noticing early memory lapses and persistent morning stiffness. Several months later, his cholesterol panel had improved modestly, and he described feeling mentally clearer and physically more comfortable in the mornings. One habit: consistent application, real, measurable results. And what comes next builds on this foundation with something specifically targeted at the part of aging people fear the most. If a patient came to me and said, "Dr. Harrington, I'm exhausted, my thinking feels slow, and my blood sugar is harder to manage than it used to be," almonds would be among the first foods I would ask them to add to their daily routine. Here is the specific reason why. Almonds are one of the most concentrated food sources of vitamin E available in a whole food form. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, which means it works inside the fatty structures of cells, including the membranes surrounding neurons. Research has consistently associated higher dietary vitamin E intake with slower rates of cognitive decline in older adults. This connection exists because oxidative stress, the cumulative cellular damage that builds over decades, is a key driver of neurological aging. Antioxidants like vitamin E help the body manage that process more effectively. Almonds are also high in magnesium, supporting bone density, muscle function, and sleep quality, 3 areas that reliably decline without adequate nutritional support after 60, and their combination of fiber and monounsaturated fats creates a steady, stable blood sugar response that processed snacks fundamentally cannot replicate. Think of a patient I'll call Patricia, 66, starting every morning with a pastry that left her shaky and depleted by mid-morning. Her doctor suggested replacing it with a small handful of raw almonds. Her afternoon energy stabilized. Her blood sugar readings improved. She told me it was the first time in years she felt like her body was genuinely cooperating with her. That is what a simple, consistent nutritional shift can produce. And what I'm about to share next goes even further. Pecans feel like comfort, like autumn, like something deeply familiar and warmly American. And for seniors, that comfort turns out to be nutritionally well-founded. Among commonly eaten nuts in the United States, pecans consistently rank at the top for total antioxidant capacity. This matters because aging, at the cellular level, is partly a process of accumulated oxidative damage, the gradual breakdown of tissues, immune cells, and organ systems driven by free radicals. Antioxidants act as the body's internal defense against that process. Not dramatically, not instantly, but measurably and meaningfully over time. Pecans also contain zinc and magnesium in meaningful amounts, minerals critical for immune response, tissue repair, and hormone regulation, all of which become harder to sustain through diet alone as we grow older. A patient I'll call Curtis, 71, a retiree who struggled with afternoon fatigue and sore knees, replaced his usual cookie with a small handful of unsalted pecans each afternoon. Several months later, his cholesterol had improved. His joint discomfort was less pronounced. And he told me something that has stayed with me. It wasn't just my knees that felt better, my confidence did too. That is the deeper gift of eating with intention, not just physical improvement, but the quiet reclamation of agency over your own health. And now, the 7-minute mark, the moment I promised you at the very beginning of this video. We talk constantly in health content and in clinical medicine about heart health, about brain health, about inflammation and cholesterol and blood sugar. And all of those conversations matter. But there is a system in the aging body that governs the felt quality of daily life, the difference between feeling sharp and feeling foggy, between warm hands and cold ones, between clear vision and declining sight. And it is almost never discussed in the context of food. That system is microcirculation. The vast, intricate network of small blood vessels, the capillaries and tiny arteries, that carries oxygen and nutrients not just to the large organs, but to the retinas of your eyes, the nerve endings in your fingers and feet, and the smallest, most delicate structures of your brain. As we age, this network weakens gradually and silently. Large vessel health gets the prescriptions and the attention. But the small vessels, the ones responsible for visual acuity, cognitive sharpness, physical sensation, and the simple feeling of being fully present in your own body, those require specific nutritional support that almost no one talks about. And that is where pistachios are genuinely, remarkably different from every other nut on this list. Pistachios are one of the best food sources of arginine, an amino acid that the body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule that instructs blood vessel walls to relax and widen, improving blood flow through both large vessels and the small capillary networks that reach the most vulnerable tissues in the aging body. This is not a pharmaceutical mechanism. It is a natural physiological process. And dietary arginine from whole food sources like pistachios provides consistent, gentle, ongoing support for it. The practical result of better nitric oxide production in an older adult is meaningful. Improved circulation to the brain supporting clearer thinking, better blood flow to the retinas supporting sharper vision, warmer and more responsive extremities, and reduced blood pressure through natural vasodilation. But there is a second layer to pistachios that is equally important and equally overlooked. Pistachios are rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, two antioxidants that accumulate specifically in the retina of the human eye. Ophthalmologists consistently identify these as among the most important dietary nutrients for reducing the risk of macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in adults over 60. And critically, because these antioxidants are fat-soluble, they are absorbed far more effectively when consumed alongside the natural healthy fats present in whole pistachios, making them a more complete and bioavailable source than isolated supplements. Consider a patient I'll call Diane, 73 years old, a former librarian who had been experiencing recurring dizziness, persistently cold hands and feet, and increasing difficulty reading for extended periods, things she had accepted as simply part of getting older. As part of a broader nutritional conversation, she began eating a daily handful of unsalted pistachios. Over the following weeks, the dizzy spells became less frequent. Her reading endurance improved noticeably. Her hands felt warmer. Her follow-up blood work showed measurable improvement in vascular markers. She told me she felt like her body had quietly woken back up. That is not a miracle. That is microcirculation being nourished, consistently, daily, by a food most people walk past in the grocery store without a second thought. That is what I wanted to save for the 7-minute mark, and I hope it lands the way I intended it to. And now, the fourth and final nut that deserves your caution. The one I called the most emotionally familiar. The one woven most deeply into American daily life. Peanuts themselves, in their natural form, are not inherently dangerous. They contain protein, fiber, and beneficial fats. The problem, and it is a significant one, is how the vast majority of peanuts and peanut butter are commercially produced and sold. Ultra-processed peanut products typically combine multiple ingredients that nutrition researchers and cardiologists identify as specifically problematic in combination. Hydrogenated oils containing trans fats, added sugars in significant quantities, and excess sodium. Together, these ingredients elevate LDL cholesterol, destabilize blood sugar, increase caloric density far beyond what the natural nut provides, and create the inflammatory dietary pattern most strongly associated with cardiovascular disease progression. For older adults already navigating elevated risk, this combination is not neutral. There is also the matter of storage. Peanuts are kept in warm, humid conditions that make them particularly susceptible to a mold called Aspergillus, which produces aflatoxin, a compound with established associations with liver stress over long-term cumulative exposure. Because liver function naturally declines with age, older adults are more vulnerable to this effect than younger people, and less able to process and clear it efficiently. A patient I'll call Helen, 70 years old, otherwise careful and deliberate about her diet, ate 2 tablespoons of commercial peanut butter every evening. She believed it was a light, sensible, protein-rich snack, when her liver markers elevated on routine blood work and her fatigue deepened over several months. Her full dietary picture was carefully reviewed. The commercial peanut butter, its processing, its added oils, its regular aflatoxin exposure risk, was a meaningful part of that conversation. The answer is not to eliminate peanuts from your life. It is to choose natural peanut butter made from peanuts alone, no hydrogenated oils, no added sugar, no unnecessary additives, and to eat it in moderate, intentional portions. That one change addresses most of the risk while preserving the familiarity and enjoyment that makes the food meaningful to you. Small, precise adjustments, significant, lasting outcomes. If you have stayed with me through this entire video, through the 4 cautionary nuts, through the science, through the 7-minute moment I built toward from the very first sentence, I want to say something to you directly. Most people don't stay. Most people click away in the first 30 seconds, looking for something faster, simpler, more entertaining. You stayed And that tells me something important about who you are. You are someone who takes your health seriously, someone who understands that the quality of the years ahead is not fixed, that it is shaped daily by the decisions you make in ordinary moments. That is exactly who Golden Glow Senior exists for. If this video gave you something real, a new understanding, a habit worth reconsidering, a food worth adding to your routine, please subscribe right now and share this with someone you love. A spouse, a sibling, a friend who still reaches for the salted cashews without a second thought. This information is a gift, and it costs nothing to pass it on. Let me bring everything together. Aging is not something that simply happens to you. It is something that is shaped, quietly, consistently, one unremarkable daily decision at a time. And one of the most consistent decisions you make is what you reach for between meals, what sits in your snack bowl, what you eat in the quiet moments when no one is watching and health feels like a distant, abstract concern. Those moments are not small. They are where the difference between thriving and declining is built, slowly, invisibly, over years. Heavily salted cashews, ultra-processed macadamia products, Brazil nuts in excess, and commercially processed peanut products all carry specific, well-understood risks that compound with age. Not because nuts are dangerous, but because processing, additives, and accumulation transform natural foods into something the aging body was never designed to handle daily. And on the other side, walnuts nourishing your brain and your blood vessels with omega-3s and antioxidants, almonds protecting your cognition and your energy with vitamin E and magnesium, pecans defending your cells against the oxidative damage that drives aging from the inside out, and pistachios, quietly, remarkably, through arginine and nitric oxide and lutein, restoring circulation to the smallest, most vital networks in your body, giving back what time has slowly been taking. These are not miracle foods. They are consistent, daily investments. And the return on that investment is not measured in days. It is measured in years of clarity, independence, and the simple, profound joy of feeling well. I'm Dr. Linda Harrington. This is Golden Glow Senior. And your best years? They are not behind you. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me, which of these 4 protective nuts are you going to add to your routine starting this week? Let's build this together. I read every single comment, and I will see you in the next video.